Imagine walking into a bank, just a regular Tuesday morning. No designer suit, no red carpet flashes, no Hollywood entourage trailing behind you. You shuffle in wearing jeans and sneakers, maybe a baseball cap pulled low. Just another man looking to open an account. The employees barely glance up. One, the manager, sizes you up with a smirk as if you've already wasted her precious time. "Get out of my bank," she snaps, her voice slicing through the quiet lobby. The staff laugh, a cruel echo, as if mocking your very presence. They even threaten to call security. What they don't know is that the man they're humiliating is Denzel Washington. Yes, the Denzel Washington, who also happens to have secretly purchased their entire parent company just days earlier. What happens next becomes a story of legendary proportions, the kind of real-life drama that makes Hollywood scripts look tame. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. This wasn't just about money. It was about respect. Imagine Denzel, calm and collected, not raising his voice, not losing his composure, simply walking out as if nothing happened. 10 minutes later, however, the world turned upside down. A convoy of black SUVs rolled up outside the bank. Doors opened and out stepped corporate executives, lawyers in tailored suits, and the regional director himself. And in the middle of this storm of authority was Denzel, no longer just the nobody in casual clothes, but the man who literally owned the roof over their heads. He walked back into the branch, laid ownership documents on the counter, and with the faintest smile, delivered the line that instantly became internet legend. "Funny, I own this place." In that moment, the tables flipped so fast the entire staff must have felt dizzy. And without raising his voice, he instructed the regional director to terminate the whole team on the spot. Customers gasped. Phones shot into the air, recording every second. Within hours, the footage went viral, sparking conversations around the world about humility, customer service, and the jaw-dropping ways karma sometimes delivers its punchline. Now, picture yourself in that bank. You're just waiting to deposit a check, maybe scrolling through your phone, when suddenly the very man you thought was just another customer reveals himself as the ultimate boss. It's almost cinematic, except this wasn't a carefully choreographed scene. It was real, raw, and completely unscripted. But isn't that the beauty of life? Sometimes reality outshines the best of Hollywood. This story isn't just about Denzel pulling off the ultimate undercover test. It's about human nature. How often do we make snap judgments about someone based on appearances? How often do we dismiss people, assuming they have nothing important to offer, only to later discover we were dead wrong? This bank manager made the mistake of treating a customer like an inconvenience, and it cost her not just her job, but her reputation. One can only imagine the wave of regret that washed over her when those SUVs pulled up and reality hit her like a lightning bolt. The staff who laughed must have felt their stomachs drop. And here's the kicker. Denzel didn't need to shout. He didn't need to flex his authority in an ugly way. He let the truth speak for itself. There's a lesson in that, isn't there? Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, and when it does, the silence that follows is deafening. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. The video that spread across social media didn't just highlight a Hollywood legend teaching an unforgettable lesson. It sparked a bigger conversation about how businesses treat their customers. Think about it. How many times have you walked into a store, a bank, or even a restaurant and felt like you were invisible? That your presence was an inconvenience rather than an opportunity? We live in a world where customer service has become more of a slogan than a reality, and stories like this remind us that the smallest interactions can carry the biggest weight. You never know who you're dealing with. Could be a millionaire, could be someone with the power to change your life. Or maybe it's just someone who needs kindness in that moment. Isn't that worth remembering? As the clip circulated, people began sharing their own stories. Tales of rude clerks, dismissive managers, or the small kindnesses that changed their day. The internet became a confessional booth for customer service experiences, and suddenly, everyone had an opinion. Some saw it as the perfect example of why respect should never be conditional. Others laughed at the poetic justice of it all. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing. If there was ever a case study in treating people better, this was it. And ironically, it came from a man who has spent his life playing roles of power, integrity, and humility on screen, only to embody them even more powerfully in real life. Now, let's pause and ask a question. What would you have done if you were that manager? Would you have taken the time to listen to this man in jeans and a cap? Or would you, like many of us on a bad day, have dismissed him without a second thought? It's easy to sit on the sidelines and say we'd handle it better. But the truth is, we're all guilty of making judgments based on surface appearances. That's what makes this story hit so hard. It forces us to confront the uncomfortable ways we might treat others without even realizing it. And here's another layer. Denzel's test wasn't just about catching bad behavior. It was about leadership. The greatest leaders don't just sit in corner offices, surrounded by filtered information. They go into the trenches, see the reality for themselves, and then make decisions based on what they've witnessed firsthand. That's exactly what he did. Instead of reading polished reports about customer satisfaction, he experienced the truth of it. And when the truth turned out to be uglier than expected, he acted decisively. Imagine if more CEOs or leaders did the same. How different would our workplaces, schools, or even governments be? This story also taps into something deeper, the universal hunger for justice. We've all been in situations where we wished karma would step in immediately. That rude boss, that dismissive cashier, that person who cut you off in traffic. We secretly dream of a moment when life flips the script and puts them in their place. Watching this story unfold was like watching that fantasy come true, live and unfiltered. That's why it went viral. Because people love to see justice served, especially when it happens so dramatically. And yet, there's humor in it too. Imagine the facial expressions of those employees as Denzel revealed the truth. The sheer awkwardness of realizing you've just laughed at, insulted, and threatened the man who signs your paycheck. It's the kind of moment that makes you want to crawl under the floor. People online couldn't stop making memes about it. Some captioning his calm line, "Funny, I own this place," with everything from classrooms to relationships. That one line became an instant classic, quoted and remixed endlessly. Who knew that a trip to open a bank account could create one of the greatest mic drop moments of all time? But let's not forget the ripple effect. After the incident, the bank had to address not just the firing, but its entire customer service culture. Training programs were launched. Executives were forced to confront uncomfortable truths. And other companies watched carefully, realizing they too could become the next viral cautionary tale. It's amazing, isn't it, how one simple act of arrogance, telling someone to get out, can spark changes that ripple far beyond that one branch? Here's where the aha moment comes in for all of us. We don't need to be Denzel Washington to create change. We don't need to own a bank to demand respect or to model kindness. Every interaction we have, at the grocery store, in line at the coffee shop, even in traffic, is an opportunity to choose humility over arrogance, patience over irritation, kindness over dismissal. Because one day you may be the one holding the documents that say, "Funny, I own this place," metaphorically or literally. And so, as we reflect on this story, maybe the real lesson isn't just about a Hollywood icon teaching a bank staff a once-in-a-lifetime lesson. Maybe it's about reminding ourselves to slow down, to check our snap judgments, to treat the next person we meet as if they matter, because they do. Who knows? That ordinary-looking person could be someone extraordinary. And even if they're not, they still deserve your respect. That's the heart of this story. That's why it resonates. So, the next time you find yourself tempted to dismiss someone, remember this tale. Remember the SUVs rolling up, the stunned faces, the quiet smile of a man who didn't need to raise his voice to change the game. Remember that humility is power. And then ask yourself, how will you treat the next ordinary person who crosses your path? Now it's your turn. Share this story, talk about it with your friends, reflect on the times you've been underestimated, or when you may have underestimated someone else. Let's make kindness the norm, not the exception. Because one day, the person you dismiss might just own the bank. And wouldn't you rather be remembered as the one who treated them with respect from the very start?